Hi, everyone. Today we're here with Assistant Superintendent Sandra Brock, and we're going to talk about, her role and her position within Northville Public Schools. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. I'm Sandra Brock from the Office of Instruction, and right now I kind of have two roles. So I'm Assistant Superintendent for Instruction, so the role is very much that instructional piece, and then I'm also Director of Instruction. So I can take you through a day in the life and kind of what those duties look like.
Yeah, so our first is, what does your role consist of, or what are you in charge of handling?
That is a great question. So I think anyone in a role like mine in a district, it's really always important to remember your inner teacher. So why you became a teacher. And you always keep in mind when you were a teacher, those connections with the students, because in my role, we're not situated in a school. Our office is actually at the Board of Education. We have early childhood classrooms below us, which is amazing, which keep us connected. But visiting the schools is very important. So I love to go in, meet with students, meet with staff. So thank you for this opportunity. A day in a life can vary. So you can have a planned day and then something happens and you kind of go down that rabbit hole. Or you can have a planned day and everything works out. So a lot of my job is going to trainings. So trainings would be, for example, we have the International Baccalaureate Program. We have advanced placement. I also support other individuals who really take the lead giving the state testing. So a lot of times I'll go to state testing meetings just to learn more about the SAT, the M-STEP, and some of those pieces kind of coming down the pipeline, because in education, things change at the state level or at the federal level, and you have to adjust. A lot of my job is also funding. So we get an allocation to run schools, because schools, do not run for free. You have to pay for things. And so you get an allocation from the state. You also get some other funding. And a big part of my job is grant funding. So I have to complete the grants for Northville schools. And what that means is in various systems, we look at our allocation, we meet with stakeholders, and then we identify how grant monies are going to be spent. And why that is important is because when you bring grants into a district, it offsets your general fund balance. So you're able to just kind of, keep schools going. It's really important to be fiscally responsible in this role, and then also academically responsible. So the most fun part of my job, I would say, is working with teachers. So every year, your teachers, grades K-12 and Cook, adopt new material. So it can be a new math book or a new science program at the elementary where they want to bring in live science and have mealworms and crayfish. And so that is really neat, because part of that process is I go around to classrooms and talk with teachers and talk with students about that process, about which resource do we want to adopt, how do we want to allocate our money, and how do the kids like it? And the best part is the elementary kids are hilarious, because they will tell you when they really like something or when they really don't. And so that's probably one of the best parts of my job.
Yeah. Do you, how do you select the students that, give their opinions on this?
So we usually have a pilot team of teachers. So I'll just throw out a form or an email, like a Google form, and just say who would like to pilot the new social studies material for K-5. We're looking at 3 potential options. Teachers are great. They sign up, and then typically if they invite me, and offer to bring them a coffee or a beverage. So most teachers are either like Coke, Diet Coke, Pepsi, or coffee. And so I go in their classroom, and then I honestly just walk around the classroom, and kids will call me over. I'll just sit down next to them and say, "What are you doing?" And they're telling me all about how they're they're watching the life cycle of a fish. They have guppies, and now they're feeding them, and they're looking at the skeleton, the exoskeleton of the crayfish. The best part of the crayfish is they have an exoskeleton. This is very sciencey, gross. But as they grow, the exoskeleton sheds, and it looks like an additional crayfish. So that's always mind-blowing to the third graders, because they're like, "We have another crayfish." And it's like, well, it's the exoskeleton. Yeah, so it's fun.
Yeah. Are you involved at all with the, this is just like a question I thought
Yeah.
of, with the new possible passes here at Northville, like the electronic passes?
So I've been in meetings. I don't directly oversee that, but I've been in meetings. I think the biggest piece in this day and age is we just want to make sure that we allow students freedom, but that we're also, providing a very secure environment for students to learn, where they feel stress-free. And so I think that's a big piece of the pass system. So I don't directly oversee it, but I've been at some meetings.
Okay. And then Riley, you want to ask
I have a question that I just thought of off
Sure.
the top of my head. What's like the biggest accomplishment you've had within like funding or like something really big that you got?
That is a great question. I think the biggest, if I look at personally, like, of course, outside my family, which, is very important to me, I would say earning my doctorate was a big deal. It took about 6 years, but I remember saying to myself, like, you set goals, and if it takes 6 years, if it takes 10 years, you get there. So I think that was a big piece. The accomplishments in this role come every day. They look different. I was a high school assistant principal, middle school principal, and I was in a district that was 90% free and reduced lunch. So those accomplishments were, supporting kids who needed a lot of support and bringing programming that helped them grow and that would get them to a place to succeed. Here I think the job is different than a principal, but here I really think it's supporting teachers, working with teachers, because at the end of the day, you want them to choose either a resource or a program that they like and that they think is good for students. Number one, because they know what's best for students. Number two, because then they'll use it with students. So I've always been of the philosophy when we look at a program, it's not I'm finding it and this is what we're going to do. It's we find some things, we look at them, we decide what's best for kids, and then we move forward through a process.
It's cool.
Yeah. Do you want to ask the...
All right. And then what is it like being this assistant superintendent for the school district that you grew up in?
Okay, so I feel like I'm kind of outed. Please do not look at my composite picture. I had very big hair back in the day. It's great. So I actually went to Winchester. I was there when they selected the dragon mascot, in the 80s. So it's wonderful to go back to Winchester and just see the building, because the building is still the same, which always is, so fun to see. Just the same, there have obviously been updates, but just even see the brick and where the playground has always been where the playground has been. So that's really cool. Then I went to Meads Mill, and what's really nice is Meads Mill's getting a lot of updates through the bond work. So it's going to be painted, and there's going to be new pieces put in and new collaboration rooms for students. So I think that's what's really fun, is I know what it looked like when I went there, and how we're updating it and modernizing it is really cool. And then I never went to this building. I graduated from the old hillside.
Yeah.
So that was always really neat, and it was bittersweet, when the new hillside was built. But I was so happy that the community feedback and the parent feedback was, let's keep it on the hill when the new building comes. So that's, it's kind of that tradition with, things change, time goes by, and things change for the better. So
Yeah, it's like how they're naming that new neighborhood the Downs.
Yes.
I saw the sign and I thought that was pretty cool. They're
it is
keeping
pretty
a part of
cool.
it. Yeah.
Honors the history, but it will be something new and great for Northville.
And that's cool, living here and getting to see, part of your job is helping with those changes and making things better. So it's cool to kind of see, how
Yes.
you've impacted that as well.
Yes.
To better for the
Thank
schools.
you.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's really a gift.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much all my questions. Unless you guys can
they
think
got
of anything.
answered as we went. But
Yeah.
Oh, good. All
Yeah,
right. Well,
so-
if you have any other further questions, just let me know. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah,
This has
of
been
course.
so cool.
Coming.
Thank you to
Thank
Mr.
you.
Garland and all the students. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
yes, thank
Thank you.